A lot of news to get into, including a very wacky UFC show. There was everything on this show. There was a John Jones fight. There was a fight that seemed like it was over, but it wasn't. And then it was over, but then it probably shouldn't have been over. There was... What else do we have? A championship change where the champion just looked like a dude because the challenger destroyed him. This was quite the show. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was an entertaining show. The main event was kind of...
It was boring. Let's not lie.
I thought it was... I thought it was... It was just... The last two fights were really one-sided. The main event was expected to be one-sided. It was. The problem was it went 5 rounds. It was like John Jones never really... I don't think John Jones ever made a real attempt to finish him. He just seemed like he was just happy being safe. And they went 5 rounds of it. It was a really one-sided fight. He committed a number of fouls. Actually, that was kind of an interesting thing. Like he nearly, if it was somebody else, he probably would have been DQ'd for that. It was. He actually hit 2 illegal blows. I think it was a kick and a knee, one of which wasn't called, one of which he was docked 2 points on, and then there's a third one that he threw but he missed. So it was like crazy. It's like the guy, he was cruising to an easy win, and he was like doing everything in his power to get disqualified to you know what I mean? But he couldn't. And he nearly did in the sense that if Smith had, not gotten up, but it wasn't that bad of a blow that he couldn't get up. But, people have milked worse. In theory, he should have then lost by disqualification if Smith couldn't continue. But the reality is that there's no way they would have done that. I heard on the commentary, and they're going like, oh, if he'd done that, they'd have gotten a disqualification. It's like, yeah, by the rules they would have, but they'd have called it a no contest. It's like, they're not going to. I wrote that on Twitter and people freaked out, but it's like there's the rules and then there's the reality. And if you haven't learned by now that the rules don't apply to John Jones, then you're not paying any attention. They were not about to take his championship for that foul, but it was a blatant foul. It's like you can't really, kick a guy aiming for the head. It's like if you aim for the body and the head gets in the way because the guy moves, it's one thing. But when the guy's laying there not moving and you kick him, or knee, actually it was a knee right to the side of the head, which at one point, the announcers even said it was to the neck, and it was right to the side of the head. It was not to the neck, but in either way, I'm not sure that. So anyway, there was that, but John Jones won easily. Kamaru Usman beat Tyron Woodley I don't know what happened. Tyron Woodley just had a bad day or something. I don't know what happened to him. He just wasn't there, and he got destroyed. I was kind of thought that the judging was pretty bad on that one, but it doesn't really matter because it's like, he won every round. But there was a judge who ruled it 50-45, and I had it 50-42, which none of the 3 judges had anything close to that. So I thought, well, I don't think I'm wrong on this one because these were pretty blatant 10-8s. So I looked at the media scores, and it's pretty much like my score was identical to the majority. There were some 50-43s. There was one 50-44. There were no 50-45s. Most were 50-42s, and there were some 50-41s, and there was even a 50-39, which is actually insane. 50-41 would be a tough one. 50-42 or 50-43, I would accept. 50-40, there was, but it doesn't matter. Usman won the fight, so it doesn't really matter what the scores were. So that fight was interesting to watch. I thought the refereeing in that fight sucked too. Mark Goddard, there were at least 3 occasions in that fight where it was 2 clinches, and once when Usman was on top. And it's like you're in a clinch and you're throwing knees and, lots of knees to the body. You're not stalling. It was not a stall in the clinch. And he broke it up. And it's like, what are you breaking up when there's action? And once on the ground, it's like if these guys are on the ground and there's no action, yeah, stand them up. I get that. But Usman's beating him up on the ground and he just stands him up. It was like, I didn't, Mark Goddard's been around forever. And it was like, what is he doing? Like the first time, it's like, what is he doing? And then he kept doing it. So it was like between the refereeing, the judging, it was not a good night for officials in Nevada. That's for sure.